All right, some 31 minutes after 6. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time here on CTV Ghana's #1. Tonight, another edition of Fact of the Week coming to you live from our studios here in Bonny, Accra. So tonight, we're talking about three major issues this week. We know that the President, John Mahamas, on Wednesday chalked some successes as part of his 120 days in office. Tonight, we'll delve much into that, what he talked about before the December 7 elections and what he's been able to do as far as his 120 day in office is concerned. We'll touch base on that as well. What he's done, what he's unable to do so far, what is in the process so far. We'll talk about that tonight on the show. We also talk about what the new Patriotic Party stands on the removal of the Chief Justice, Gertrude Arba. We'll also talk about that as well. And then we look at the President Mahamas' code of conduct. What's in it, any advantage, any disadvantage as far as the public service is concerned. Tonight, join us here on our social media handle on CTV. Kwame Okyere Jnr. You can call me KOJ. I'm sitting in for Valentino Free, your regular host. Tonight, trust me, we're going to have a very interesting discussion, very educative one as well. Let me say thank you to Fairnat. Wood is for life. Great furniture is made by Fairnat. They are supporting Fact of the Week. And also, let me say special thank you to Aquaba Natural Mineral Water, quenching thirst and nourishing the nation with pure, clean, refreshing Aquaba Natural Mineral Water. Thank you so much for the support on Facts of the Week. So I'll take a break. When I come back, I will introduce my two guests and then we'll set the ball rolling. All right, welcome back here on CTV. This is Facts of the Week, another edition. That's the first edition in the month of May. So let's get into the conversation. But I introduce my guest for tonight. I have my colleague, Dr. Desmond Group, and also Dr. Frederick Owusu. He's a lecturer with the University of Ghana. We have two docs, so maybe I have to separate how I'm going to do the introduction. But to my left is Dr. Frederick Owusu, lecturer at the University of Ghana. Doc, good evening to you.
Good evening,
and
Kwame.
It's a pleasure having you tonight on the show.
I'm also happy being here for the first time.
Right. And then my another doc, maybe for the purpose of this discussion, I'll call him Desmond, so that you know the kind of doc, whether we are talking to Doc or Desmond, so you get to know. Desmond, good to have you on the show
thanks for having me
as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So we'll get into the discussion. Just like I said, let me say thank you to Fairnat and also Aquaba Natural Mineral Water. Well, let's get into that discussion now. On Wednesday, it was 7th of May 2025. It was President John Mahamas' 120 days social contract he had with the good people of Ghana before the December 7 elections. Well, quite a number of things he talked about, some 25 things he gave. You remember that key among is the fourth out within 14 days, he would not list of cabinet there you have on your screens. And then number 2, constitute the leanest and most efficient government under the Fourth Republic in the first 90 days in office as well. So we'll fact check what has been done and what has not been done. And then we also look at the fifth provision that within 90 days in office scrap the following draconian taxes. So we have the e-levy, we have the betting tax, we have the COVID-19 levy, and also emission levy as well. And then within the first 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country. So that's also one of the key things he talked about. And then the code of conduct, which was launched some days ago, that also was captured in the 25 social contracts he talked about. Establish an accelerated export development council to promote export as part of a broader strategy for economic transformation, and also convene a national consultative conference on education. You recall that forum was held in the Volta region hall, and also implements the no academic fee policy for all first-year students in the public tertiary institutions, universities, colleges of education, nursing training institutions, and etc. That today we heard that President Mahamas has given a directive to the Finance Minister, Dr. Kaysel Forcing, to refund all fees paid by the first-year students as well. Introduce the following social interventions the free tertiary education for persons with disability, the Ghana Medical Care Trust, that's Mahamas Care Fund, and also commence the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. That has also been launched, and some pads has been distributed as part of the launch on that particular day. Institute inquiries and a forensic audit into the following matters of public interest: the collapse of indigenous Ghanaian banks and financial institutions at the supposed cost of 25 billion Ghana cedis, illegal printing of money, the $58 million National Cathedral scandal, illegal and inflated single-sourced contracts, COVID-19 expenditure scandal, PDS, Ijapa, SML, ambulance spare parts deal, and the 13th All-African Games, Skytrain, Palugu Dam, mass sets, Galamsey fraud, missing excavators, and tricycles, Sputnik V, Bust scandal, and others. So these are just a few that we've touched on, but let me get to the studio and get into the discussion properly. Let me start with Dr. Frederick first on this particular matter. Doc, once again, let me say thank you. So this is the social contracts that President Mahamas, before the election, talked about. First of all, your impression on his first 120 days in office.
Thank you, Kwame. I want to say good evening to your viewers and all Ghanaians who are watching us. What I want to say is that if you look at what the president promised Ghanaians, and so far the analysis of the results, then you can say that yes, indeed, he has delivered on most of the things that he promised.
Okay.
Like you said, if you run through the list, these were things that he stated them emphatically, that within a space of 120 days, yeah, I'm going to do this. But I would like to say he was honest with us, okay, from my perspective, because we've had in the past where presidents come and go, and most of them were using 100 days. Yeah. But I mean, he knew the task ahead, and he decided that no, I won't go with the status quo. I won't go with the 100 days that almost every government, whether in Ghana or outside Ghana, we recently witnessed that of Donald Trump in the USA, where he gave account of the first 100 days. But he thought that no, he needed more time to be able to give a very good account on what he deemed the 25 or 26 issues that he wants to handle. So I think that on that side, I would say thumbs up, because he was able to give a reasonable timeline to himself to be able to work, I mean, within that timelines.
I see. Well, Doc, I'll come to you, but the key things that was part of it. So the first one was the first 14 days, he's going to nominate his cabinet ministers, and that was done. And also, the constitute the leanest and most efficient government. Of course, I mean, in the past, we've seen a lot of ministers. We can talk about the erstwhile President Akufo-Addo's administration. We saw large number of ministers, including some deputies. Some ministries had 2 or 3 deputies and all that. Would you say that this is something that we can say is historic as far as the democracy of our Fourth Republic is concerned?
Okay, so touching on how he wants to run a lean and efficient government, I think that in that area he has done well, because if you look at history of Ghana, you realize that just the past government, they had about 125 appointees. Compare that with the current 56. So it's somebody who has been on the seat before. He came first term, and Ghanaians were not convinced about his performance. So at a point, we said, no, Jack, we needed somebody to come and also do something for us to see, which we had to vote him out. He goes, sit down, and now comes up with a new, idea that, no, Jack, I can do the work, so give me this chance. And Ghanaians, overwhelmingly, we saw on, December 7th, this is an unprecedented win for any government in the Fourth Republic. So what he has done, the promise he said is going to protect the public pairs. This is where we have to, analyze. If you compare 56 so far appointees, ministers and deputies, to that of 125, I think that every Ghanaian, and this is just a simple mathematics.
Yeah.
If you look at the maintenance of a minister, I did some quick research. You realize that for one minister, you're not spending less than anything 10 million for close to a year, 10 million Ghana cedis. So if you look at that, he has saved the country about 69 appointees. Multiply that by 10 million for a year, multiply by 4 years. Then you can say that no, what he has done has an impact. He has been able to protect or save some money that can be used for other development.
Because even the 60 he talked about, just like indicated, is now 56.
Yeah,
we have to see whether the 4 will be added to the 56.
Yes.
At this point, I doubt.
If I read what he proposed, he never said 60. He said, I will not reach or I will not go beyond 60. So that in context, it could be less than 60 or just at 60.
Just at 60, that's right.
So I think that he has been able to stick to the promise and he has delivered on that. So if we are looking at the tick box, I will take that as an excellent for him, which he has done. Maybe there might be other small hitches somewhere, but on the side of the contract, he has delivered his part. I see.
Before I come to Doc, let's listen to the new Patriotic Party as well, because just a day after President Mahamas delivered his address, the new Patriotic Party also thought otherwise. They think that in the 120 days of President John Mahamas has been the worst. Take a listen.
It is rich to hear the president tell us in Sona that the flagship project, the flagship program, 24-hour economy, also known as 133, one job, 3 shifts, would find space in the 2025 budgets. That is what the president told us, that Dr. Forson, his finance minister, will pronounce on the 24-hour economy. But what did we hear? Another matricle. When Dr. Forson appeared before the House with a budget statement, no mention was made of the 24-hour economy, their own famous flagship program. What Dr. Forson promised us was that, the 24-hour economy is being considered. And yesterday, as typical of them, they have inaugurated another committee. They said there's another committee responsible for enacting the 24-hour economy. Hey, President Mahamas. Hey, President Mahamas. Hey, President Mahamas. About the saying 24-hour economy at Tonsium, you promised that you were going to create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. This should find space in your first year budget. If you really mean business, in your first year budget, that should feature.
Right, so you had the Member of Parliament for Futu constituency in the Central Region, also the minority leader in Parliament, and together with him was Patricia Appiah, and also the Member of Parliament for Weja constituency, Honorable Ahmed Shaib there. Doc, I'll bring you in. So, after marking things that President John Mahamas has not performed well in his 120 day, as touted by President John Mahamas. He said that the 24-hour economy, we've seen nothing, but we know that President John, there's a secretariat for the 24-hour economy, which is yet to roll out its models for the year. Your take on the 120 day by John Mahamas and the defense by the new Patriotic Party?
All right, thank you, KOJ, for the opportunity, and let me say good evening to your viewers and our listeners. Let me start by saying that for me, I think that some of the things that we as journalists or broadcasters or maybe the ordinary Ghanaian would even see as achievements, I have a different mind to it, because some of these things I don't think that President Mahamas himself does not even see them as achievement. These are basics for me that if you're serious as a leader and as a government, you indeed would want to leave a certain footprint or give a certain
energy to the people that voted, to the teeming masses of people that voted for you in an election, just so that they continue to hold you high by way of confidence and all. So you tell me that you name your cabinet in 14 days. I don't see that as an achievement. You get me?
Okay.
Achievement for me are the hardcore things that, or the things that you didn't even talk about and you are doing, but affecting lives.
But many will think that it is an achievement because in the SO administration we saw that President Gufaro said that he was in a hurry to work, but it took longer period for him to name his cabinet. So, that one can say within 14 days in office, you were able to name your cabinet. But
the metrics and the dynamics may be different. Don't forget that it would take two of the groups in the house, majority, minority, to be able to have a plan to accelerate your governmental, what do you call it, vision and processes, so to speak. For example, if you nominate and they decide that, and you know that some of these timelines that where some of these nominees were supposed to go through were waived, and it was because there was a consensus between the minority and the majority. I mean, some of these things. So I'm saying that for me, I still don't see it as an achievement. It's not an achievement for me. You name your cabinet in 14 days. And you have named your cabinet in 14 days. It's good. I'm saying that it's not an achievement, but it's good.
Okay.
That you have lived by your words, which is by extension going to help the general public to have a certain confidence in you that when you say you do or can't, you understand. Yes. So for me, that is my take on that. And a lot of things that he has done, which for me may be termed as achievement, are one. For example, the issue about the Galamsey fight and all that, you realize that for whatever that it is, from whichever way you want to see it, there's been some significant moves to ensuring that the water bodies are left clean or are not destroyed. The forests and all that are not destroyed and all that. You clearly see that it was a big deal. And the president promised that when given the mandate, he's going to do his best to ensure that some of these things are nipped in the bud. Clearly, moves are being taken to ensure that some of these things are, even though an amendment, a repeal in opposition, now became an amendment, and now he has listened. We hear that the government has listened and is trying to, in fact, when Parliament resumes, there's been a law. The Attorney General has put together a document to come and now repeal rather than stay with the amendment.
I think this is what he wants to do. That's what I listen. The LI, which is the 2462, will be amended to take the executive power out. But then there is another act, which is the Mining and the Minerals Act, which is the 703. That act is what gives people the authority to enter into the reserves and mine. So once that act is amended, then nobody has the right to enter there. So in essence, it's like repealing the first LI because now the Attorney General thought it wise that there's a better way of doing it. Don't just go and repeal the LI, but let's amend it because there are certain aspects of the LI that might be good for the country. So let's amend it, take your power out. Then now once the power is out, still people will go there. So let's touch on the act which allows people to go there and mine. Once we touch on that act, now everybody is forbidden to enter into the reserve. So this is two things. They are doing two things to achieve one result.
But per the conversation from environmentalists, they are looking at a firm repeal of the LI 2462. They are not even talking. Majority of them are not even talking about the other
because they didn't know. You see, when you have an Attorney General, at least he's a learned person who understands the law. So coming to office and looking at the various acts and legal framework that we have, he thought that no, as an advisor to the president, I don't think that the promise you made to repeal that law will help solve the problem. Rather amend it and let's touch on the Act 703, which is the Mining and the Minerals Act, and these two together will provide the same results as what you promised. And so that is exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, but fine. I mean, if the two you would do two things to achieve a single result, and you can do one single move to achieve the same single result. Why don't you go for that one? I mean, and so yes. So like I'm saying, I mean, to all intents and purposes,
yes,
the president, so far so good, is not doing too bad. But we showed a video, and I'm wondering, what kind of people have said on this table that we are so disingenuous, we are so natural in this country? I don't get it.
Why?
You are calling. You see, you did a certain. You brought a certain. What do you call it? Free SHS, and for 8 years, free SHS had no legal backing. No blueprint.
Yeah.
Rolled out an initiative from Bazaar with no proper documents to speak to. Yet you survived it, and somebody is telling you that yes, it is my flagship program, but I want to do the right thing. Get the basics right. So I form a committee, put a document together, so that we can properly roll out the program, so that we don't get to today. We are taking funds from here to finance free SHS. Tomorrow there be a honye. We are going to another place to take what kind of.
There's a law backing.
And somebody is doing this, and you are sitting there and saying, "Hey, Mahama." You see, they need to be sometimes fair and candid.
Yes.
To ourselves as a people, you understand. So, as for the things that we heard yesterday about the 120-day social contract as expressed by the minority group, well, it's their opinion. Everybody is entitled to the opinion, but as it were, the fact that you have an opinion doesn't mean that you can mount a stage and say anything anyhow and think that for the optics you would want to. And I don't blame them. This is what they do. These two parties. This is what they do.
Okay.
To each other.
Once they're in opposition,
there's a different song.
Okay.
Today, we have an opposition group of people who think that the police is their enemy. Yesterday, what was happening? You understand? So, it is important that some of these things, the Ghanaian people, and you know, interestingly, the Ghanaian voter or the Ghanaian citizen has become so sophisticated that you cannot say some of these things and get away with it.
Sure.
They will look through, listen to you, and dot their I's and cross their T's. You don't just come and say everybody will take a hook, line, sinker. No, not at all. So yes, they might have said certain things that are not right in my opinion, but it's theirs to say, and for the Ghanaian people to listen to them, whether they are making sense to us or they are not making sense.
Okay, so I'll come back to. Do you want to add something?
Yes. What I wanted to say is that you see, if you look at the promise, it says commence drafting needed legal amendments and prepare for implementing the 24-hour economy policy. You see, so there was something that the president wanted. He said commence. He never said he will roll out the entire 24-hour program within 120 days. And at least we should be fair to our viewers and our listeners. You see, especially from the camp of the minority, I think that they owe the Ghanaian people some sort of respect. And they shouldn't take everybody, put all of us in one bucket and think that we are all the same. There are elite and there are people who can read in between lines and know what is wrong and what is right.
Because there's a policy that you can't really roll it totally.
No.
120.
Not at all.
It involves industries.
Yes.
Lots of companies, the private and even the public sector as well.
And you know, interestingly, some of the agencies, the SOEs that have even started, they tell you that when you speak to the CEOs and those that matter in the space, they tell you that they are still waiting, even though they have intentions to roll the 24-hour system in their various agencies. They're still waiting for that document that will be a guide to them as to what exactly the space would be, what they're supposed to do as an institution, so that they can properly be firm and be working.
I listened to the Minister for Presidential Communication, Felix.
Yes.
Yesterday, and what he's saying is that it's not that nothing has gone on with respect to 24-hour economy, which is the person in charge, which is Mr. Gusitano, has already briefed Parliament on the progress. And so, you know, the minority, I expect that from them. You see, they can't just sit back and watch the government do all the good things and get the praise. I mean, at a point, they feel that they also have to score a point so that people also know they are there. And this is something that has been going on for a while. So, I mean, we shouldn't blame them entirely. But
indeed, when the Honorable Gusitano came to Parliament to brief the parliamentarians, I was in that chamber. In fact, it was even beaming on air, live for people to. And you asked all your questions as minority. The teasing, the things that you think were not, whatever. You were asking the questions. The man was speaking directly to the issues. You understand?
So you think they are pretending to paint a different picture?
You know that still Free SHS does not have a legal backing. Are you aware?
I agree.
And it is even one of the things that I'm expecting this government to consider. Yes, bring a proper legislation on the.
So I'll come to Dr. Frederick shortly because you live with the students. So when they talk about the cost of living, I'm sure that whether or not the cost of living is high, you can attest to it because you live with the students. I'm sure they will complain to you as well. Let's listen to what Applaud Market talked about as far as the cost of living in this particular country under President John Mahamas is concerned.
This government has maintained and even compounded the cost of living for every Ghanaian household. Prices continue to surge, markets remain unstable, and traders groan under taxes that, by his own standards, serve no current purpose but enrich a bloated state machinery. Promises under the NDC government are no more sacred. They are just tools for winning elections and excuses for not governing.
So, Alex and Applaud Market, the minority leader, you can send a WhatsApp message to 0200668486, 0200668486, 0200668486, and then the cost of the program will read your message, will share what you've been speaking about to Ghanaians. Doc, let me come to you. The cost of living as compared to what we were experiencing in the last 8 years under the SWAL administration, what would you say about the cost of living? Is it still high or relatively average?
Thank you. What I want to say is that, you see, when we are assessing the cost of living now, I mean currently, we should also not forget that even though other parameters and indicators are showing that we are doing well as a country, most of them has not been translated into, I mean, the realities that we expect to feel. Because I bought items few days ago. And the price that I was given was for the old rate. Meaning that the importer still says that these items, I had already paid for it somewhere in December before the new government took office. And so with this new, I mean, appreciation of the dollar, the CD, I mean, against the dollar, it did not affect that goods unless I go in for a new consignment. So we should not be in a haste. I mean, it's early days yet, and I feel that we should give time. With time, dust will settle, and everybody will enjoy whatever good thing that has come out of the president's initiative and the things that he's implemented.
So you believe that maybe in the coming months things will come down? Because
if we want to experience something significant, something that we can say that truly I'm enjoying it, then we should look out for the next couple of months, hoping that the dollar will stay where it is. Because you see, one thing bringing it down and one thing keeping it there. They are not the same things. You can bring the dollar down today, and by the next week, if the measures you put in place are not still in place, the dollar goes up. And By the time the person has exhausted what he brought into the country and is now going for a new thing, he's still going back with a higher rate than even what he brought in last time. And we might think that, oh, it's a scam. But this is why we should let Ghanaians know that these things will take effect, but it will take some time. Okay. It's not going to be instant because we are not operating with automatic adjustment sort of economy. Elsewhere, once there's a change in one economic indicator or one thing, everybody experiences within the next 24 hours.
Sure.
But here, we now have to work on it. We now have to conscientize the people involved. Even we have to, I think that if the government is listening, we should engage a lot of the people in terms of education. Let them know, hey, the thing has come down. Stop holding on to, you know, that old mindset that we were all, schooled to conform to for the past 8 years. Because for the past 8 years, it's like you press your neighbor hard enough so that he can also press the other. And in that chain, it keeps on going. But this time around, there's a new trend and there's a new dynamics that has come. And so let's unlearn the bad things that we learned 8 years ago. Then we can now have a new mindset so that we all believe that, hey, together we can work to bring the country.
But I'm sure the conversation on the part of the traders will be that I still have some old stock. I need to clear them.
So with that one, if you want to assess the standard of living, especially where you ask the question about students, you are not going to feel it. Or you are not going to say anything that significant.
It wouldn't reflect much in our pockets.
Yes. But what I want to say is that maybe the first years will enjoy because the president promised about the no fee stress for first years. So if your mom was giving you 500 cedis because he had to pay admission fee and now that waiver has been given, then your mom can top up your 500, make it maybe 1,000 cedis, and that will make you feel less, stressful than before. So I think that maybe the first years, but it's early days yet for us to really, expect drastic change in terms of.
We'll come back to the appreciation of the city from the 16 to 13, but Apendamake also talked about import duties and taxes there. So let's listen to that. Then I'll come to Doc, and then we'll have a general conversation on the appreciation of the Ghana city, whether it's from the performance of the government or what people say is the trade war that is currently happening.
Now, on the import duties, we go on these broken promises on import duties and the COVID-19 levy. In his inaugural speech, the president acknowledged the pain of Ghanaians, promising to change the destiny of this nation of ours. But this government continues to allow what he had called during his days in opposition, crashing levies and regressive taxes on the backs of the sovereign people of Ghana. He promised to review and reduce import duties to make easier for traders, importers, and consumers. He has not. He promised to abolish the COVID-19 health recovery levy because the pandemic is long past and the people's pockets are exhausted. He has not. Instead, this government has maintained and even compounded the cost of living for every Ghanaian household. Prices continue to surge, markets remain unstable, and traders groan under taxes that, by his own standards, serve no current purpose but enrich a bloated state machinery.
That's the minority leader in the market. Let me remind you that you can still send your messages to 0200-6684-86, 0200-6684-86 on our WhatsApp number. Then we'll share that to the rest of the world. Let me come to you. Apendamake talked about some taxes. He didn't applaud the government for scrapping some of the taxes, but he touched on one that has not been scrapped, that is the COVID-19 levy. Your take on that, and then we'll tie in with the appreciation of the Ghana city. What is the performance of the government, or is because of the trade war?
I've told you that we are so disingenuous as a people. I don't understand why we are even showing these things to our critical minds in the first place. See, You ask yourself, who introduced that COVID levy? Who did that?
It's during COVID-19 time.
And he knows, as a minority leader, he knows that before you even take, in fact, there were plans underway, as I understand, to decouple, because they put the COVID levy into the VAT.
Yes.
That is how come VAT is about 17% over now. You understand? So in order to be able to deal with that substantially, you would now have to bring another, what do you call?
Need to do a VAT reform.
Exactly. Bring it to Parliament through the Finance Committee and all that. Do all those things. And he's aware. And he's deliberately doing all these things just because of the politics of the NDC and the MPP once again that I was talking about. KOJ. Interestingly, he has the, I don't know how to use nerve or whatever. He is not even afraid to talk about taxes in this country.
I told you I like his confidence in lying.
You impose over 23 taxes on just when you go to the port, and I have the list here. By your permission, if you allow me, I will list for our viewers to hear.
Just share some excerpts.
Yes, you have when they were in power. You have import duty, you have import VAT, processing fee, ECOWAS levy, vehicle examination fee, network charge VAT, network charge COVID-19 health, Ghana Shippers Authority, SNFE, import NHIL, network charge NHIL, GHS disinfection fee, MOTI IDF fee, special import levy 2%, Ghana Export Import Bank, that's the Exim Bank levy, Ghana Education Trust Get Fund import, network charge Get Fund levy, African Union import levy, COVID-19 health recovery levy. Look at these people. And you are here saying what? Please, you see, once again in this discussion, we are interested in what the narrative was then and what is happening now.
Sure.
The president or candidate Mahamas at the time said he was going to deal with certain levies or taxes when he's been given the mandate.
Yeah.
True to his words, he's done so. Even when they said he was going to deal with the betting tax, and they talked about winnings on levies on winnings.
Yeah.
You came back to do a certain propaganda to suggest that they were just going to deal with just the betting levy. But indeed, it was what the new legislation is, the scrapping of this has to do with even levies that levies on all other winnings, not just the betting, including banker to banker and all that. You understand?
Yeah.
So what more do you want to see to be able to appreciate that? Once again, I understand is the politics and the things that these politicians do to the ordinary people in this country. Today, the dollar, in the words of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for the former president.
Yeah. So from 16 to 13.
Yes, but I will say that we should not also be too excited about it because there are certain things that are playing both within and without.
Sure.
The without, we don't have control. So we should not be overly excited about what is happening to the dollar now as against the cedi.
Yeah.
Rather, we should be interested in what measures that the government will put in place locally. And I'm excited about the gold bond thing. You understand? It is going to bring a lot of reserves, dollar conversation reserves into the system that will help to strengthen our buffers. You understand? So that at any point in time, it doesn't put too much pressure on the demand for the dollar when our business people, our traders and all that are moving out to go and trade and do business in other jurisdictions. And so, even though it is a good thing, I applaud the government because there are certain things that locally they are doing right, which is also helping to reduce or make the currency strong. And so we applaud them. They should continue and stay focused on some of the things that they are doing to ensure that the city is strong.
Okay. Doc, you want to take a bite before we
Yes,
go to our next topic?
on the issue of the dollar, this is a question I've been asking myself. I was listening to my colleague when he was talking. The issue I asked myself is that even though, yes, we have internal and we have external factors, that's what we have been saying.
Sure.
But I asked myself, external, how does the external factors affect your currency? Because the US doesn't know how much you sell dollar in your country. Let's be honest with
they are not even interested.
our viewers and our listeners, because we need to educate them.
Yeah.
Nobody in the White House is interested in how much you sell dollar to your own people in your country. They don't regulate that. There might be wars, there might be a lot of things happening outside. But I can tell you on authority that a lot of the factors are internal.
Okay.
When we have sent things outside, we have our exports, we've done it, and we have the forex coming in. It's the Bank of Ghana that regulates the forex that we receive from export of our products. And we have officials within government, not only in NPP, but previous administrations that have come and gone. They make sure that they go to Bank of Ghana and they take the dollar and hold it. In as much as you are holding the dollar, the ordinary businessman who needs the dollar to trade, now if he's going to buy things, he doesn't need CD anymore. He has to buy a dollar. And just within our country here, we decide the price of dollar. Nobody decides it for us. We have to make that very clear to the people that are listening to us, that nobody anywhere in the world can decide the price of a dollar for us. We decide, because when I go to the bank and the bank doesn't have it, now I have to look for the dollar at all costs. So I go to the street. On the street, I meet anybody, whether the Gao men, the Fulani, or the people who are holding dollars. The black market we call. When you go there, they decide to sell at any price. And I've had instances listening to people who talk about our so-called clergy. They are the reason why the dollar goes up. So I can tell you on authority that about 99% of the factors are internal. The external one there, just something micro.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say that on Mondays, don't go and look for dollar rates for exchange. Don't. Because Monday, that is where the pastors have mobilized all the funds from church, and and most of them, they don't keep CDs. They send all the money to the black market, and at that Monday, you see jute bags with 50 CDs, 100 CDs, 20 CDs, 10 CDs notes. And they go to the black market. Any rate they give them, they take it.
Okay.
And if you are a business person, from the understanding I got, if you're a business person and you want to change dollar or you want to change CDs into dollar, don't go Monday, at best Wednesday or Thursday, because Mondays is for pastors within the country. And this is an internal factor. Okay, we have to deal with.
Yes, I get the point. I get the point you're making, but see, China and American trade war.
Yes.
We cannot say will not play
a role
in our scheme of things.
I'm sure that's also talk about the minor.
Yes, so
yes, I can understand that. Yes, that one there I can understand.
How we need to be able to explain so that the ordinary Ghanaian will understand
exactly.
How would, because we were here when there was issue about Ukraine war, Russia-Ukraine war affected Ghana. When the Russian president was making...
in fact, he was even donating.
Yes.
He was even donating, and we were complaining that their war has affected us.
You see, we have to be serious as a country. I think that we need to be serious and hold state agencies and institutions accountable when it comes to some of these things.
Right.
And stop this whole culture of trying to blame one another for our misfortune. I think it's not going to help us. And I'm happy that the president has, stated clearly that, hey, no matter what is happening outside, we have to work on ourselves. If we work on ourselves, I'm thinking that the odds will be for us, and we can grow as a country. So, I mean, that's what I would say.
Okay, so still here on CTV, Ghana's #1 fact of the week. So this one, let me do some messages before we move on to our next topic. This one says the MPP leadership think Ghanaians. Let me add this and can't think. No wonder that Ghanaians voted massively for His Excellency John Mahamas and his NDC members of Parliament, Sadiq Abubakar. Brostad message. This one says, I'm genuinely surprised by his perspective. It's difficult to understand how he overlooks the achievements of President Mahama. His comments appear to reflect a partisan bias rather than objective assessment. Given the widespread public optimism about recent developments in Ghana, his stance seems misinformed and lacking in depth. He's just a joke. Okay, so that's his message to the member of Parliament for to the minority leader there. Let's move on to the Women's Bank. A lot of Ghanaians, especially the women, of course, this is for the women, they are much excited about this. And many also talk about how the rollout is going to be for every Ghanaian woman to benefit from that particular policy. Okay. Doc, let me start with you before I come to Desmond.
So, when it comes to the Women's Bank, if you look at what is stated in the president's contract with Ghanaians, he said he will provide seed money. Seed money is not the running capital. So I think that's where we need to, draw the line. Seed money, which he has done that. The next is that he has to make sure that he equips the bank with funds so that they will be able to run. I'm told that it's not going to run like what we have the other banks that need some minimum threshold of 400 million and all that. No, this is just going to be an ordinary. It's not going to be placed on that scale. So I'm sure the capital requirements will not be huge. The emphasis is on to have funds that you can give to women and make sure that they will be able to use it to trade and get returns to, improve their livelihood. That is the goal here, which I'm sure, based on the amount that is given so far, 51.3 million Ghana cedis, it's a peanut. But I think that he said seed money, so startup. He has delivered on that mandate. That's what I would say.
Desmond, let me have your bites on that before we move on.
Of course, it's a good thing. We applaud the government once again. We are saying that when they do it right, we say it. When we see that there's an exhibition of some mediocrity in some of the things that they do, we'll come and say it as well. This is good. I'm sure the women are excited about it. We hope that whichever form or shape it will take, that it will come and, be used for the intent and purpose for which it was put out. Not the usual things that we usually, our Maslock and the others, still struggling and still finding people who take money from them and cannot be accounted for and all those things. We hope and pray that this time, this particular one, the Women's Bank or Women's Cooperative or whatever that it will become, things are done right so that it serves the purpose for which.
I think to add just a little to what Doc was saying. Now people are asking questions about how to assess, because you see, accessibility, we can have the bank there, but how do I assess funds from the bank? We know
because the conversation will be like every woman deserves to have an access to these funds.
And so what is the criteria? Which I'm sure in early days here, the government hasn't been able to come out with clear, guidelines as to who qualifies, who doesn't. Is it for everybody? And so I'm thinking that whilst they are listening to us, these things in the coming days, they should let us know. They should educate the public so that the misconception and the lies that are being spewed by other opponents will not change the intent and purpose and the goodwill for which this initiative was brought into being. So I think that they should let us know who qualifies, because people feel that going to the bank is for only the elite. My mother in the village, he doesn't have a bank account. So if my mother wants to access this credit facility, She's still in the village, and up to now, if I want to send her money, it's a big issue. You need to call somebody to transfer into somebody's account, and because she doesn't know how to do it. So these are the people who also need the money. Like the scholarship that we're supposed to be giving for needy and but brilliant, ended up to the rich but brilliant. So if we are not careful with the policies and come out clearly as to how these credit facilities are going to be accessible and which category of women are supposed to get and all that, we will end up having the rich, those who have shops at Mokola, those who have all the 5-star shops and all that, they are the people going to benefit. So I think that they should let us know all these things.
All right, so this fact of the week, I've been doing this so far with Dr. Frederick Owusu, who is a lecturer at the University of Ghana, and also Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan, a broadcast journalist with us here at Class 91.3. Just like I said, fact of the week is supported by FENAT and also Akwaba Natural Mineral Water. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fenart Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fenart Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden products that will last a lifetime. With Fernat Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernat, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernat Ghana today and share my story. Locate us at Yaniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303-966-085 or 055-278-4097. Think wood, think Fernat.
All right, so welcome back to Facts of the Week here on CTV actually. That's the Class TV anyway. So I've been doing this with Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan and also Dr. Frederick Owusu. We'll get into the conversation of the demonstration that the new Patriotic Party backed on this week, all in support of, in against of the suspension of the Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba-Tokono. Desmond, let me start with you on this one.
Well, KOJ, I have said this on radio and severally that what happened that day was for me an exercise in futility. I mean, it was not going anywhere. For me, I thought that, and I don't want to rubbish what happened. I just want to be charitable with them because I really did not see
the essence of that demonstration.
See, we spoke to some of the other minority parties that joined them, like the PMP and the LPG. And the LPG leader, I was asking him, on what basis or which part of the Constitution, the Article 146 from 6 down to 11 or 144, wherever, which part has the president violated? I said he's not violated any constitutional provision, just that he said when he comes, he will take the Chief Justice out and he's implementing it. Then I asked my question. I asked, was the president...
PMP2 was fighting for gender base and not for the particular details of...
I'm saying that the president... Well, I don't know why we are, once again, very hypocritical. Nyachum is killing killing the politician or some politicians in this country. I don't understand. The president was supposed to receive a petition came, he gave it. In fact, we are told that the president, just so that people don't even come and say other things that he had opened it to even see, he sealed it and handed it over to the Council of State, who then sat on or looked at the document, 3 petitions, looked at it, and then realized that indeed there will be some questions for the Chief Justice to answer. So indeed came back to the president and advised him on it for him to take the next step in the process. He's done all these things. None of them, and they are good lawyers for that matter. In fact, the minority leader who was leading this charge
is a lawyer.
He's a seasoned lawyer, not just a lawyer. He's a seasoned lawyer. He understands the constitution and appreciates some of these things to the latter. So, you see, my law lecturer will tell you that when you are speaking to lawyers on a matter of law and they begin to talk moral, then you should know there's a problem. Yes.
Okay.
So, KOG, I know your time, you don't have your time. I mean, time is not a friend now. But let me say that thing that happened, that match was needless. They just pushed innocent people onto the street for the scorching sun to hit them. It is not going anywhere. The petition, whatever was in the petition, is a no. It will not fly in the face of anything in this country which is law. Because right now, in fact, the committee we hear have even started sitting. With the day they were even having the committee was sitting.
Okay.
And speaking to so yes, so like I said, let us not waste time. This matter has come too far, and I know that it will not go anywhere.
Okay.
The system is working.
Okay. Doc says the system is working. Your take on that? Is the system working? You think that the minority have already lost the fight in this demonstration that embarked on?
I think that I agree with my friend. What I want to say is, see, this whole respect that we've had for a lot of people who claim to be learned, I think that we need to take it off. You see, there are a lot of people who are interpreting the Constitution with mischief and some diabolism. You see, just because of personal interest.
Yeah.
Because if we are going according to the Constitution, so far there hasn't been a single individual from the camp of the opposition party to say that this is an article that has been breached, this is a clause in the Constitution that has been breached. They are all going on demonstration with sentiment. Is the law based on sentiment? How? So are we saying that because fine, they are making claims like the president promised. So the president promised, and so because of that promise, the Chief Justice has to, excuse me to say, misbehave herself, because I promise that I will remove you from office when I come. Then money that are not yours, you take it and you use it for other means, so that I will get grounds. I mean, these things, how can we be talking like this? I mean, please, they should spare the minds of people, because people are stressed for the past 8 years.
Can you wrap up for me because of our time?
At this time, they need peace, and the peace is what they have gotten. They should stop. I mean, hitting gong and making a lot of noise to still create a lot of confusion for some of them. I think we are all happy because we are in an era of good governance, and that's what I want to say.
All right, thank you so much. So just some few messages before I go. This one says, good evening. The MPP went to opposition because of their lies they haven't learned, and they are still lying. Ghanaians are wise now. The minority leader is doing 419 propaganda full of illusions. He wants to be a protagonist of MPP. This one says that, okay, this is politics for you. In his bid to vindicate his party, he is rather pushing them deeper and deeper into the abyss. Good evening, I'm Sani Gintiama, a student. Price reduction of goods and services have not been effected, but all signals in the atmosphere currently promise a better cost of living in the coming days. Sam in Accra, which he says, if Nanado and Dr. Bawumia had implemented 50% of JDM's policies, MPP could have won. MPP is still unthinking and unlearning. You are annoying us you are annoying us more after 4 months of different government. So we'll end the messages here, but let me say thank you to Fernats. Wood is for life. Great furniture is made of wood. Thank you so much for your support on Fact of the Week, and also Aquaba Natural Mineral Water, quenching thirsts and nourishing the nation with pure, clean and refreshing water. Aquaba Natural Mineral Water there. So these are the two supporters of Fact of the Week. It's been an interesting program so far. Doc, let me thank you so much for your time this evening, and also Desmond, thank you so much. So I've been doing this with Dr. Frederick in Tiama, who is a lecturer at the University of Ghana, Legon, and also my colleague here at Class Media Group, Dr. Desmond Kofi, and broadcast journalist here with us at Class Media Group. My name is Kwame Okyere Jnr, sitting for Valentino for referee here. Next week, we'll be back again on your screens at 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. with another educative, informative analysis here on Facts of the Week on CTV Ghana's #1. Good night.